I had created previously a few videos entitled Who I Was, and there's part one and there's part two. And in those videos, I was mentioning about, just how, you know, immature I was at the time that I went to Bible college. But really, you can't understand really how meaningful the Bible college was unless you hear some of the examples of how wonderful it was. Some aspects weren't, some aspects were, but through the bad, we can always see the good, and it really creates what we call good memories. There's always, bad that happens in our lives, but, when the good comes from it, we could see that. So, I just wanted to share with you, of course, this has nothing to do spiritually with anything, but it's just sharing, you know, you know, what is meaningful to me. And you probably have own memories, from your past that has been meaningful for you. So I just wanted to share these memories from Bible college. And of course, I only remember, things here and there. I don't really remember things unless somebody brings it to my attention and helps me to remember, some of the stuff from the past. But, I recall before I went there, I was telling my pastor that brought me to God just when he was preaching on Easter Sunday, I think it was of 1998. I was sharing with him this fire that I had inside of me that, I felt like I could get up there and preach. And of course, if I did, I probably would have been tongue-tied. But I just felt that fire in me. And so he was telling me of a Bible college he went to that was up in Canada. And so, he took me there, before the semester began. And he was just showing me different things, And I recall staying at his parents' place for a few days and then seeing it. And then, so when I expressed my interest in going, he made up a contract which was ungodly. And in that contract, he specified that there were certain things I have to do in order to receive the church's funding. And so, of course, I signed the contract. So once I received the funding and I had to open up a student loan to pay for it as well, I was sent out there. And I recall going there. I had to take a plane, I believe. And so I think he took me up, I think. And I recall going to the border of Canada from the United States. It's easier to get into Canada than it is coming back into the United States. So when I got there, I had to show them the documentation of why I was there, and yeah, I think it was a birth certificate, social security card, proof that I was going to the Bible college, and there was like many other things as well. So once that was all situated, we went up to the Bible college, and of course I was the first student there, and all the other students haven't come yet. So I got my stuff unpacked, and we had a bunk to ourselves. And it was kind of a strange bunk that you had to climb the ladder in order to get up to the top of the bed. And below it was like a closet that you put your books and your personal stuff in. And I think that's what I did. And I also had a closet on the left in which I put up my, it was a shelf, and then there was a where I could put my toothbrush, toothpaste, shaving cream, and below it you could put your laundry, dirty clothes, or whatever. So that was pretty interesting. So within, I think, the next couple of days, students started arriving, and I met my roommate there. He was quiet and stuff, and to himself. And I recall like breakfast in the morning. They had different things. They had like um, hard-boiled eggs. They had scrambled eggs. I think they had fried eggs. They had sausage links, I think, and they had one of my favorites, which was a chocolate chip muffin. So that was definitely awesome. And so it was. I don't really remember too many things. I met up with I met a few people there. I'm usually to myself, once I get to a new setting. I stay to myself, I say hi here and there, but I won't be extroverted until I get to know people. So I met a couple of people. Um, of course, I was immature at that time. And I met a couple of people I joked around with, and, you know, we used to sing these different 80s songs, like little bits of each of them. And of course, I got that from like a commercial, like around that time. Somebody was showing like a compilation CD that you can buy. And so some of these songs you were singing were from like the 50s and 60s. So I was singing them, and I think one of them, part of the song was Dean Martin, um, When the Moon Hits Your Eye Like a Big Pizza Pie, It's Amore. And then Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa by Nat King Cole. And so I was singing these with a friend, and like during class, and it was pretty fun. And this guy, Matt, he dressed up as a clown and called himself Bubbles. And there was a few other people that hung around with us. My friend Adam, he hung around with this group as well. And I think eventually I got to know other people as well. My friend John, my friend Ben, um, my friend Scott, my friend Kelsey, and of course Adam. And then there was Trevor, and then there was Cecil, and then Jason. So, we all hung out together. We used to sit in my friend John's room, and he used to tell us stories about his dad. The guy was like freaking hilarious. He said his dad looked like Eric Clapton, and of course I wouldn't give it justice to be able to tell do the stuff that he did and what he spoke about his dad, but it was just hilarious. So he would tell us the stories, and all of us would freaking die laughing. There was also times too in the cafeteria where they would make these chicken strips, and since you know one of our friends worked in the kitchen, they hooked us up with like the chicken strips and hot sauce, and so we ate them as a snack, and I think it was a dare, double dare thing that went on where I think they were daring Adam to like drink some hot sauce, which he did. So after he drank it, he runs into the bathroom, and we were like following him, and he had his mouth in the under the faucet trying to drink the cool water. Oh my gosh, it was so freaking hilarious. Poor guy. I think his stomach was burning. So that man, it was such hilarious times. And poor Adam, I mean, he, we would stay up late, like Saturday nights, and we would watch Mystery Science Theater 3000, and we would watch Happy Gilmore. We always seemed to watch them like some Saturdays. And of course, we stayed up until like 2 or 3 in the morning. And we couldn't get up for church on Sunday. Well, some of us didn't. I didn't sometimes. And so, if you didn't go to church, there would be somebody from the college, probably in the dorm, that checked each of the rooms to see who was there. And if you stayed and didn't go to church, you would be, I guess, they would inform the dean, and you would have to speak with the dean. So, it was such a hilarious time. We would all watch Mystery Science Theater and Happy Gilmore and laugh. And we would be eating while we did it, eating snacks and stuff like that. And, I don't really recall having too many classes with them. So, of course, I'm a C student, so I didn't make really good grades. But I went to one of the deans, and he helped me set up a schedule, list all the classes down. And then the areas that you didn't have classes, you had free time, you can use that as study time and to do your work. And so that's what I did. And I think my grades got a little better. But I was immature. And I used to get up in the cafeteria with my friends, prodding me. Say, hey, make an announcement. So I would get up. And we had this walk through the Bible seminar at the college. And you would do these hand motions in order to remember the events and where they were at chronologically in the Bible. So you go from Genesis all the way to Revelation. And so you go a little bit at a time, you learn something new, you learn a new hand motion, and then you go back to the beginning and relearn it. And they said, okay, go back to Genesis. That's what the mentor or the leader or whoever the teacher was that taught that. Go back to Genesis. So we went back to Genesis, and we relearned what we learned again, so that we can, keep learning new stuff. And so I used to yell out when it was quiet, go back to Genesis, and my friends were laughing. And so I would get up in, the cafeteria and make stupid announcements. Hey, everyone, my jaw hurts. Or my friends would tell me, what to say, and I'd get up and do it, and they'd laugh. And of course, a lot of people, didn't like that. They're like, this person's horrible, apparently. And so some of the leaders didn't like me, I don't think, as well. And one of those leaders ended up, when I tried applying back to the Bible college, wrote me, a letter stating, we don't know where you're headed, but it's not here. And I took that as as far as we're concerned, you can go to hell. So that's one of the bad aspects of that Bible college. Yeah, I enjoyed my friends and such, but, it was very religious. So we would sit at the cafeteria and we would joke around. I'd make stupid announcements, and we would all joke. We were telling stories that make each of us laugh. And I recall one time, and this is a disgusting story, but one of the friends came back from the guy's bathroom, and he said, guys, there's this huge piece of crap that's in the toilet. And he was like, it's this big and that wide, this long and this wide, or something like that. So we all looked at each other, and we got up laughing, and we went into the bathroom. My friend Scott got his girlfriend Kelsey, and he like pushed her into the bathroom to see it. She was like grossed out. We all were grossed out. So it was hilarious. So it was a missed opportunity if we didn't do this. So one of our friends, Ben, he had a camcorder, a small one. So he started recording, and my friend Scott was in there. Of course, Scott was awesome. I mean, he looked like one of the members of Korn. I mean, he wore these like green army khakis. He had like, I think it was a Nazi symbol, but it had a line through it saying that he didn't like it or whatever that was, against Nazis or something like that. And he was such a kind guy, man. I remember going, like, this is off topic, on a rabbit trail, but I remember we had this one evangelist that came to the Bible college. I don't remember his name now, but he was just preaching and all that, and we all went out together witnessing and telling people that Jesus loves them. And so we went off into pairs, going around telling people that. And so I went with Scott. Well, I think it was more than pairs. It was like a group of people. So I went with Scott and a few others, and we went into a bar, and I think I wasn't supposed to go in there probably, but I went anyways. And I sat down at a table with a couple of elderly men, and I was just telling them about Jesus, saying that, Jesus loves them. And the old man's like, you shouldn't be in here, in a bar telling people about Jesus. Well, I said, it's not the healthy you need a physician, it's the sick. Of course, in my heart, I love God so much. And when I read his word, I would just more or less ate it up. And everything that I spoke and stuff was God. And, I loved him. I loved what was said in the scriptures. I loved Jesus. I loved what he did and what he said. And so that's what I said to them. And so that was a rabbit trail. I used to go around telling people that Jesus loved them. We did that night. And I remember going to this couple, and I said to them, Jesus loves you. The man's like, oh, come on, and walks away, and his girlfriend's like, thank you. So, it was being a light, at that time. So, getting back to the story about recording, so Scott's in the stall where that big, huge piece of crap was. And he shut the door, and so Ben started recording it. And so I think as it was recording, Scott kicks open the door. Well, actually, before he did, he was like making like groaning noises, like and then kicks the door open, pulls his pants up, buckles them, whatever, and Ben goes in, starts recording it, zooms in, and so a few of them were trying to flush it, and all of a sudden the crap like explodes. There must have been like an air pocket or something in it, but it was hilarious. And so as tall and as big as I was, they blamed me like I was the one that did it, but it wasn't true. It was somebody else that did that. So, it was just one of those great times, man. Even though a disgusting situation, but it was hilarious. And through that entire time, I was in an internet relationship with a girl, and I used to write her emails. She would send me letters. I would send her letters back. And some guy gave me like his voicemail that was going to expire soon. And so I use that to speak to my internet girlfriend. And I used to, just say, you know, what my heart felt. And then she would leave a message back. It's like a greeting. So I gave her my number that the guy gave me. And in the greeting, she would say how she felt toward me. And I would do the same to her. And it was the cheapest way of doing things at that time. We didn't have the cell phones that we did today, being able to call each other and stuff like that. We had regular dial-up phones. And so, that it helped my time go by fast there. It gave me something to look forward to because we were planning on meeting, like when school ended. Because I had a free ticket, and all of this was talked about, and who I was, part 1 and 2. And so, even though there was some good times, there was also some bad times. And, of course, I jacked up a friend's phone bill for talking to her for a long time. And the pastor I had talked to the dean. The dean talked to me about it. And so they ended up contacting my internet girlfriend's parents. And her stepdad calls me and tells me that I can't converse with her anymore. And so I was brokenhearted. And he would tell me that she would send me a goodbye email because we couldn't converse anymore. And I honestly felt like my heart was ripped out because that I invested more than a year with her, talking with her. And I remember when it was over, I just sat on the bench when no one was looking, and I just bawled because, like I said, my heart was ripped out. But I ended up leaving the Bible college, and, I missed my friends, and I hated leaving them, and I wanted to go back the next year, but I couldn't. I would call them, and they would all get on the phone that next year, but it wasn't the same as seeing them and being with them. And I recall having dreams about me going there and seeing them again and just feeling ecstatic. Then wake up and find out it was just a dream. So it's been since 1999 since I saw all of them, and I honestly don't know if I'll ever get to see them again. I know I will in heaven, but I'm hoping one day I'll be able to visit with each of them and we all have a get together. But they all have their families now, and it's just, I don't know, maybe with some people it's just not as special as it is with other people. But, I just wanted to share with some things about the Bible College that was special to me. Maybe you have your own special memories that you remember. And it's always good to recount what happened. So maybe you have special memories for yourself that, you remember and you recount. Maybe you've met good friends that you haven't talked to in a while. And, man, you wish you can get back with them, to re-embrace those good times. I mean, I think personally it'd be awesome to get back hanging out with my friends from Bible college again, remembering old times. I only had 1 year. And, of course, they had many other years they spent with each other, many other friends. But it was special in my life, and I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you for taking the time to watch.